How does sand turn into glass?
Sand can be turned into glass through a process called melting. In this process, the sand is heated to a high temperature, typically around 1700 degrees Celsius 3090 degrees Fahrenheit. At this temperature, the sand melts and becomes a liquid. Once the sand has melted, it can be shaped into a variety of different forms, such as sheets or bottles, by using a mold. The molten glass can then be allowed to cool and solidify, at which point it will become hard and transparent, like glass.
The process of making glass from sand is called melting, and it involves several steps. Gathering the raw materials. To make glass, silica sand is typically used. Other materials, such as soda ash and limestone, may also be added to the mix to give the glass specific properties. Melting the raw materials. The raw materials are placed in a furnace and heated to a high temperature, typically around 1700 degrees Celsius 3090 degrees Fahrenheit. At this temperature, the materials melt and become a liquid. Shaping the glass. Once the raw materials have melted, they can be shaped into a variety of different forms using molds. For example, the molten glass can be poured into a mold in the shape of a bottle, or it can be pressed into a mold in the shape of a sheet of glass. Cooling and solidifying. After the glass has been shaped, it needs to be cooled and allowed to solidify. This process can be done slowly, by allowing the glass to cool at room temperature, or more quickly, by using jets of cold air. As the glass cools and solidifies, it becomes hard and transparent. Finishing. Once the glass has cooled and solidified, it can be removed from the mold and undergo any necessary finishing processes, such as cutting or polishing. The finished product is a piece of glass that is strong, transparent, and able to withstand high temperatures.
Can this procedure be used for glass blowing?
Yes, the process of melting sand to make glass is often used in glassblowing. In glassblowing, a small amount of molten glass is gathered on the end of a blowpipe and then blown into a bubble using the breath of the glassblower. The glassblower then shapes the bubble of glass using various tools and techniques while it is still hot and pliable. Once the glass has been shaped into the desired form, it is allowed to cool and solidify. The process of melting sand to make glass is also used in other types of glass production, such as the creation of windows, bottles, and other objects. In these cases, the molten glass is typically poured into a mold, rather than being blown by hand.